Was good? Twitch and YouTube, welcome back.
You're live right now?
Yeah?
Hello, stream.
Jeez, man.
Goodbye, stream.
Alright. Welcome back. And today, I've got a treat for y'all. Now before I can show it, I gotta add the account. So I'm gonna move it over here. Welcome back to Wednesday's Horror Show, everybody! Alright.
Hey everyone, and welcome.
Alright. We're all set. Now, this is Wednesday's Horror Show. Discord links in the chat, so feel free to join the Discord, become a member of the Ghosts of Gold. What's that? Alright. Wednesday's Horror Show, everybody. Let's get started.
Welcome back to another Reddit video. I'm gonna start for 10 hours. Person encounters a ghost or a creepy person, etc. Or a funny skit video might be most replayed at the punchline. But for a video that's playing white noise and a black screen for 10 hours.
I'm a 24-year-old male, and this happened to me a few years ago when I was around 21. I remember because it was shortly after my birthday in December. It was really cold outside and there was snow on the ground as we had just had a snowstorm pass through our area. I lived with my parents at the time and my mom is not really a fan of driving in the snow, so she asked me if I could drive her to the gas station for her to pick up some cigarettes for her and my dad, as well as a few other items they might have needed. I said sure, as I wasn't really doing anything at the time, and I grabbed my keys, then following her to the car. I remember the cold air hitting your face pretty hard that night. So it had to be at least around the teens, which made the snow and whatever else was on the roads really slippery. This is important to know for later on in the story. The nearest gas station was about 5 minutes away from us, but given the conditions of the roads, it took us about 10 to get there. Once I was able to park the car, my mom got out of the car, then made her way inside the store. From where I was parked, I could see her inside the store standing on the line that was leading up to the register. I kept the car running as it was really cold and I just didn't want to be sitting in the car without any heat. I was browsing on my phone while waiting. waiting for my mom to get done, and right around that time I had seen her finally approach the register. I looked at my phone, and it was 5 minutes. I was waiting for my mom to get done, and right around that time I had seen her finally approach the register. I was browsing on my phone while waiting for my mom to get done, and right around that time I had seen her finally approach the register. There was a black truck that pulled up into the parking spot right next to my car. I found this a bit unusual given that the parking lot was empty, so there was really no reason for them to park right next to the spot where I was. But I kind of just chalked it up to them wanting to be as close to the entrance as they could, given how cold it was that night. No one got out of the car at first, but I didn't even notice this until I looked up to see my mom walking out of the entrance back to the car. I glanced over to the truck's passenger side window, and I could just make out a figure sitting in the passenger seat, and they were facing in my direction. My mom opened the door, then got inside, before then asking me what I was looking at. I told her about the truck pulling up well over a few minutes ago around the same time that she approached the register, but that nobody had gotten out. She first chalked it up to maybe they were just waiting for someone inside the store to come out. But when I mentioned seeing a figure in the passenger side of the car looking towards our direction, she then began to sense why I was so spooked out by it. She told me to just back out and get out of there, and that we didn't need to worry about them once we drove off. As soon as I put the car into reverse and then began to back up, the passenger door swung open and hit the side of my car. A tall, very built man stepped out from the car as soon as the door made contact with my car. I hit the brakes as soon as I felt the contact, and the man stood there before throwing his hands up at me and then staring in my direction. And my mom already started moving. I cracked it very slowly, and I told the man that I was sorry, but that I didn't say anything more. And that to keep it cracked, as I really wasn't even speaking in a low tone. I told him that I'd prefer to keep it cracked, as I really didn't want to let cold air get into the car. This really angered the man, and he immediately spoke in a more angered tone now. He was telling me to roll down my window yet again. I again told him no, and this is when things then took a turn for the absolute worse. Without any warning whatsoever, the man smacked my window really hard with his hand. Startled, I immediately jumped back and rolled the window up. My mom was right beside me, just absolutely yelling for me to just back out and leave. But I was really afraid of hitting the man in the process, as he was still right next to my car. The man kept smacking my window really hard a few more times before he then tried punching it. It was right at this point where I realized that if I didn't get my mom and I out of there fast, this guy was definitely gonna hurt us. I could see the cashier inside the gas station heard what was going on, and he looked to be on the phone with what I could only assume was the police. But there was absolutely no way I could wait for them, as the man was now both punching at my window and now kicking my door. It was like some switch had been flipped on in this man's head, and he had just totally lost it. I told my mom to hold on as I put the car into reverse again and backed out of there as fast as I could, just barely missing the guy by a few inches. I pulled fully out of the parking spot before the man ran out in front of our car and slammed his hands right on the hood. I sat there frozen, not knowing what to do, as the man looked right back at me. I turned the car wheel, then sped around him, trying to avoid him the best that I could before booking it the hell out of there. After that, I honestly thought that was the end of it. But as we made our way down the road to a stoplight, I was able to see headlights that was fast approaching from behind our car. And once it was close enough behind us, I could then see that it was the same truck the man was in. There appeared to be two people inside of it. I assumed the man I encountered must have been the passenger, and I guess the driver was someone I hadn't noticed before. I told my mom that it was them behind us, and she started to freak out and call my dad, then letting him know what was going on. We were still probably about 10 minutes away from our house given the road conditions, but I knew that there was no way that I could get us back to our house in that amount of time before these guys tried to ram us off the road, or whatever else they had planned for us. My dad told my mom for us to attempt to head back towards our house and that he would try and meet us halfway in his truck. She told me this, and I agreed that this had to be our best option, given that I couldn't turn around and head back to the gas station still not knowing if the police had even been called or not. So once the light turned green, I punched on the gas and sped off. I'm gonna be completely honest. I really wasn't being that cautious of the road at this point, as there really weren't any other cars at this point of the night. There were a few times where the car slid from the ice on the road, and I knew that it would only take one turn of the wheel to lose control, but I wasn't gonna slow down and let these guys catch up to us. After about a few minutes of driving, we were able to see headlights right in front of us on the other side of the road. I was thinking that it had to be my father, and as we got a little closer, we were able to make out his truck beyond the lights. Very surprisingly, the truck was still behind us, still keeping pace with me given the road conditions. I could see my father cut across a midsection of the roads and then stop shortly off the side of the road. I started to slow down right as we approached and then pulled off to the side of the road, the truck still following me. As I came to a stop, the same man from before that was in the passenger seat hopped out of the car, then started making his way to our car. The driver opened his door, but before he could step out, both of the men stopped dead in their tracks at the sound of my father's voice. I suggest that both of you hop back in that car and drive right on out of here before I put a bullet into both of you. I could see my dad walking out into the light, radiating from both his and my headlights. He had his 9mm pistol pulled and aimed right at the man's head as he stood right next to my car. I pretty much just watched as both of the men just stood there for a brief moment as my dad slowly inched his way towards them. The man then very slowly backed away towards his truck before then speaking to what I assumed was my father.
You're really lucky you got here when you did.
The man laughed and jumped back into his truck before it quickly backed out and drove off in the other direction. My dad walked to my window and he asked me and my mom if we were okay. I remember telling him that other than being scared shitless, I think we were fine. Shortly afterwards, my dad followed us back home just to make sure no one else followed us. I really have no idea what those men's intentions were or why the man acted the way he did. All I know is that if I hadn't reacted how I did to get my mom and I out of there, I just really hate to think what those men would have done to us. For some context, I'm a 22-year-old female and at the time I was 18 years old. I had moved to the nearest city from my hometown about 2 hours away to go to community college. I was going to get a degree in fine arts. I lived in a relatively really big dorm with 3 other roommates who were also female. The dorms happened to be located in the back of the college near downtown, situated behind a steakhouse, nightclub, and a gas station. The area was sort of in a seedy part of the city, so I tended to be a little cautious.
Alright, so I'm going to add this to the doc. Hold on a sec. The Google Docs. Hold on a sec, it's not. Alright, finally.
Wait, do that again?
Oh my goodness! What's that? It's a reflector! Yeah, it works. It works. Oh, another one.
Alright. Semi-truck crates, a solid 10 out of 10. So we got 3 10 out of 10s now. Alright.
Whenever I went, especially at night. One of those nights I had been craving some junk foods and I wanted to grab some snacks to eat while I grabbed my keys, my wallet, and then my phone, then told my roommates where I was going. I was really close by, so I was able to walk to it whenever I wanted to. Though I would typically avoid it at night since it really sent off some really creepy vibes. When I finally arrived there, I opened the door, then went inside. It was pretty quiet, save for one guy who was hanging out near the liquor in the back. The girl at the counter seemed to be scrolling through her phone, seeing as she didn't really have much to do. So I went ahead and started looking at things I wanted to buy. Though, I gotta say, the closer I got to the back, the more that I could hear this sort of muttering. The guy who I had seen entering the store seemed to just be muttering absolute nonsense to himself. It wasn't that quiet, so I wasn't able to make out what he was saying. I didn't really think too much of it, and I just went back to what I was doing. A few minutes had passed, and as I was still shopping, the dude who I had seen in the back suddenly started yelling now,
Where's Raina?
just absolutely shouting random incomprehensible things. Every single second that went by, he seemed to get angrier. The man was pacing and he was waving his arms around. I was pretty much just standing there glued to the spot, absolutely terrified of this man. I didn't know what to do, and I wasn't sure if this guy was drunk, high, or just crazy. The girl at the cash register seemed to have been alerted to his presence as well. We had made eye contact, and she looked just as terrified as I did. We both just watched as this man then ranted rage and began to pace around the store. I was unsure of my prey. A few minutes went by, and this guy then started yelling and screaming until he then walked up to the front, kicked over a few things, then left the store. I watched the guy then disappear right into the night, my heart now hammering in my chest. I had genuinely thought that I was going to get attacked by this crazy man. Thankfully he left though without causing too much damage. I walked up to the poor frightened cashier and paid for my stuff. I also ended up giving her some extra cash because I felt really bad. I mean, I know she wasn't getting paid enough to deal with people like that crazy ass man, so I just wanted to help her out. That's pretty much the end of my story though. I don't know what happened with the man, and I don't know if he ever returned to the gas station. But I'm just really hoping that I don't encounter him again.
Alright, so gas station guy, solid 10 out of 10.
You see how Raymond colored him? She tried to paint his nails.
No, poor little baby.
Is it able to come off? Yeah, it'll come. I'm gonna see if I can play with the other person. Oh wait, Bush Camp Dad is on. I texted him and I said, can I play with you, but who? Bush Camp Dad.
He's a Fortnite player.
He didn't let me play with him.
Wait a minute, Bush Camp Dad?
Yeah, he was on Fortnite. He's streaming.
Nah.
Yeah, I told him hi, can I play with you? He said no. I played with Happy Gal and Allie. Ain't that crazy?
See, so
The
what's...
two streamers that I wasn't able to play with
Alright,
for a
hey,
long
hey.
time.
When I was 18 or 19, I decided to go metal detecting in this park that was in the heart of the ghetto. Saying that this place is in a bad part of town too is really an understatement. There are regular shootings that occur at it, and the parking lot around the area is filled to the brim with dirty needles. And maybe I was stupid for detecting at this location, but I guess I just didn't care. I mean, I'd previously hit the spot and helped this old bum find a missing piece from his bicycle.
Hey, Raina.
But anyway, when I went here this time, it was like 4:30 in the morning. I drank.
Here's the
like
list
cups
for
of
all the,
coffee, had this
Wednesday
beat-up
Horror Show
rusty
stories we've heard so
1980s
far.
Bounty hunter metal detector that my grandpa got at Radio Shack and left to me when he passed away. And I started on one side of the field and began moving across it in a sort of rust-to-scan sort of pattern. I found mainly just Corona caps, pennies, and sprinkler parts at the end, but I was at about the middle of the field and got a hit that seemed like it could have been $1 coin.
Hey,
or
Matthew,
ring or
you know Togo, right?
so I started
You know Togo, right?
No.
digging.
Well, he's a streamer,
Detecting
and I
the grass,
faced him on
this really big grass that
Fortnite,
I
and he
had to
killed
start
me.
cutting a plug. And as I was digging, I sort of looked around me every few minutes to keep a good view of my surroundings. At one moment, I looked behind me and noticed that this older, heavy-set black dude sort of looked a bit like Wesley Willis, who was super far away from me, was starting to get a bit closer. I assumed that he was just a guy at the park, so I kept digging, but kept my eyes on him. It's worth noting too that he couldn't have seen my knife from the angle that he was at, just my detector and bag of findings. He started getting closer and closer to me, and I got really suspicious at this point. I started wondering what his deal was, and I don't think that he saw I noticed him, because just then he started charging me, like running full force towards me as fast as he could, with his eyes aimed at my gear. I stood up as fast as I could, and he saw my knife and immediately yelled, "Oh man, I didn't mean any trouble. I'm sorry, man."
He then stated he could take better care of her. I was way too shocked and I left for work. I took her outside to go for a walk, and the maintenance guy informed me. I talked to my dog's vet, and the vet confirmed I was doing everything right for crate training my puppy. For several weeks after this, the maintenance guy would stop to attempt to pet my dog whenever he saw us. I started taking different routes for walks and began driving to a nearby park to avoid it. This was when I realized my dog didn't react to any other stranger the way she reacted to him, hiding behind me and aggressively barking. He also began making comments about my appearance and thought that I was with me around the complex. The maintenance guy stopped again and proceeded to make a joke about going to go out to buy video. Whenever I had maintenance issues, a different guy would come out. My dog would still be uneasy, but wouldn't react aggressively. Today I had a maintenance issue again, and the original maintenance guy came out. My dog once again reacted aggressively in a minute or so. As we finally reached our apartment building, I tell you, my ears started ringing and I got an awful feeling. I'm not joking. I turned around and went home, didn't give my dog the chance to pee, and shut every door and window. I think this man has been stalking out our apartment building along with me and my neighbors. I think he wanted to get in where those children are. I'll update more when I have new information. Update number 2. It's been a week since the incident. I called dispatch today because I never received a follow-up from the responding officer. A sergeant from the police department called me back to give me more information. He said that they pulled over the man, ran him to make sure there were no warrants, and asked him what he was doing. He told the officer that he was meeting up with an acquaintance. The officer let him go with no further questions. Not only that, the responding officer is also a sergeant. I about lost my mind with this. The sergeant I spoke to today stated that he should have looked into it more, but that it was obviously an attempt at burglary, sexually motivated and or with intent to commit a felony. The responding officer is supposed to call me tonight when he gets on duty. I'm honestly livid at all this. Zero due diligence for this case, but there's not even a case. No case number, just a documented police contact. I'll give more info when I have it.
Alright.
Okay, so here's the final update. The officer finally called me. Here's how the conversation went. Hello? Yes, about Thursday. I want to know what that man told you he was doing. You know, he was looking in the windows and carrying potential restraints. I'm not sure if that was related to you. I stopped him, ran his tags, and he told me that he was meeting up with a guy from a dating app. He seemed forthcoming and open with a motive for being there. Meeting up with... Wait, you're telling me he was meeting up with someone by looking in windows and knocking on 2 different doors?
This girl I had,
I was shocked and still
she
not
cursed
fully
at me
aware.
all because I asked her it's okay, I'll play with her.
He seemed forthcoming and honest with me.
I don't know what's
So
her
was
name, but I
Jeffrey
asked her
Dahmer was
it's
the first
okay, I'll
thing that
play
came
with
to my
her.
mind.
She said, Demon Slayer, shut up.
What?
She said that to me, and all I asked is okay, I'll play with her, and then she timed out me.
Who?
The girl that I gave her my tablet to show her what happened, and she cursed at me.
Who?
I literally just told you. I don't know how to explain her name.
Happy Gal?
No, it's not Happy Gal, man. It's this one girl that has a random name.
Well, stop asking people to play with you, man.
resistance bands? Like workout bands? Ma'am, he had a lot of belongings in his car, so he probably just had them in there. He saw the little girls through the window. Officer, I'm this individual, and I've been doing long drives throughout your complex just to make sure he doesn't come back. I haven't seen anything suspicious. If you don't have any more questions, I'll let you go, ma'am. This just doesn't make any sense.
Don't have much to say. I just feel so icky about that conversation. Nothing new has come of the situation. I haven't seen that man or the car. My mind is blown at the lack of follow-up or due diligence. I live in a suburb. It's not a busy one either. The police department has a small jurisdiction. I guess I'll just have to protect myself. I've lived in the beautiful city of Los Angeles for about 8 years now. My family in the Midwest always asks me, isn't there so much crime there? I don't know how you deal with it. But other than getting my car battery stolen a few times and the terrifying incident I'm about to share with y'all, I haven't really encountered much. This occurred in an apartment complex in...
Alright.
No, I don't. But I'm gonna ask her. I don't care. I don't care about that. I'm about to ask her. Is that how you talk to fucking kids that have spectrum autism, disabilities, a disabled child wanting to fucking play? You tell them to shut the F up?
And you want to know something? What Matthew said? Stop asking people to play with him. All I want to do is.
Wait a minute, I just want clarification for it. He didn't tell me anything much. He said he just asked me one play.
That's all he did. I seen it. And she deleted it.
Yes, it says this
Matthew,
message.
he asked her, can I play with you? That's all he asked. And somebody up here put, can I play with you guys? And she didn't say nothing to them. But she tells him to shut the fuck up on the live stream. Fuck that bitch.
And I followed her for no reason.
RYX tags. Yeah, find her on the board and report her for discrimination on a fucking disabled child and saying shut the fuck up to her. Because I'm gonna have that bitch for talking to my son like that.
Oh, I didn't
Okay, I just got some news. I shouldn't have to do this on Wednesday's horror show. So I am sorry, but we're taking a detour. We're taking a detour to Twitch. Give me the name now. Spell it out.
Let me see the name.
It's
No, it's not.
RYXTAGZ.
Text me the name.
RYXTGC.
I am live right now on Wednesday's horror show. And I'm gonna have to do this.
Hold on, Matthew.
It's RYXTAGZ.
Who the hell is this person?
RYXTAGZ. Search it.
ROX.
No, RYXTZG. CAGZ. Right there. Tell her, is that how you talk to my brother?
Babe, this fucking bitch right here literally told our son to shut the fuck up.
Tell her that, bro.
I just got the person on chat, bro. Cecil, you're on mic. Go ahead and explain it. This is Demon Slayers 965, my little brother.
All I did is ask her, may I please play with you, and all she did is tell me, Demon Slayer, shut the fuck up, to me. But somebody else said, hey, you guys, can I play with y'all? And she said nothing to them.
She is, but he played with half.
All I did is ask her, and then she timed out me for no reason.
Alright. We got the proof on the previous tablet, bro. You've got the name right here, Ghosts of Gold. We got it live. RYXTAGZ. Hold on a sec. Unfollow.
Yeah,
she was You reporting her?
Slurs.
She told my brother to shut the fuck up.
Hey, shut up. You're on Wednesday's horror show. No. Sorry, but I don't need you talking right now.
If he only asked one time, that's not being annoying. Hey, I went through the comments. There was only one. Hey, there's old comment and previous comment.
I'm gonna tell you one thing about these fucking little bitches on here. They're not gonna lose credit by calling anybody such a fuck up as that they're being annoying or disrespectful. They'll tell them no.
Thing is, Cecil wasn't being respectful, but doing that to a regular fan is actually against Twitch's community line. It's against their rules, which means if someone wasn't a reporter,
And Cecil does follow her.
for about 12 days. And since Cecil has done nothing wrong other than ask kindly, and her going out of the way to do that, that's against Twitch's code. She can get in trouble for that, serious trouble.
Oh, good. I hope she does.
I've already written the report.
I wonder if she's gonna get banned right now.
She'll probably get banned later. Alright, sorry about this, y'all, Twitch fam. Alright. I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm gonna have to end Wednesday's horror show early, man.
I'm sorry, Matthew.
You're good, man. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Tune into tomorrow's streams and report that bitch. Hitch. Report her as much as you can. See you guys next time. Ghost of Gold signing off.